Good morning. It's 9 o'clock, September 26, 2022, and our regular Commissioners Court meeting is now in session. First time on the agenda is roll call by our County Clerk, Mary Jane Villalpano.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Judge Rathbone,
Here.
Commissioner Mendoza,
Present.
Commissioner Lizondo, Commissioner Solis,
Present.
and Commissioner Garza. We
Present.
have a quorum, Judge.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Next item is our invocation by Dr. Roger Miller, Commissioners Court Chaplain. Dr. Miller.
Good morning, good morning. You bow your heads with me as we lead this morning. Our Father who provides rest, we come into your presence this day seeking your hand of guidance in the ever-changing atmosphere of our lives. So Father, help us today to see the decisions made today in this court will affect our todays and our tomorrows. So Father, we need your voice to be heard by our leaders. May you speak today to our leaders as you spoke to Elijah, gently and quietly in the wind and not in the earthquake and the fire. May our leaders be receptive to your voice this day as they seek to serve this community. May wisdom be granted to them, may patience be theirs, and may peace come from their efforts to honor you. And we thank you for your hand, which both leads and protects. In Christ's name we humbly ask these things. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We got item number 4, communications, going on the last couple of weeks. We do have the COVID report, and since the last report of 9/12/22, we got confirmed positives of 2,963, an increase of 10. Probable cases, 1,655, an increase of 24, and no additional deaths to be reported. I think, I see Mr. Montes in the audience today. We've been, I guess the last few years, we've been working on trying to upgrade our fuel farm there at the airport. And I think you've got some good news to share with the court.
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
We, on that grant that I wrote, Judge, we were able to secure those funds, so, believe $550,000 for the new fuel farm, because the one that we've had is already, it's a single wall and it's outdated. So, I have a meeting with TxDOT in Austin on the 11th, so I'm gonna go out there and it's gonna be the kickoff for the fuel farm for Zapata County. So,
Okay.
but
So
it's
a
already
$550,000 grant.
Yes, it's gonna be a 75-25, but I might be able to cut some costs because we're gonna go, we might get a few items from there, from the grant, which that is a 50-50 grant, but I'm thinking that once I'm there, we're gonna work on numbers and everything, and hopefully I can, bring it down some, so. But,
I guess the state will just require a resolution from the county in the
yes,
coming weeks.
Once, after we meet there, they're gonna give me the resolution, and everything, and then I'll bring it over, have it signed, and then we'll go from there. Hopefully, they're looking at, late October to start if everything goes well, or November, and should be done by February, March. And we've been losing a lot of air traffic. I mean, they still land with us, but, we're losing out on the fuel, but we needed that new fuel farm system, so that's the reason that we haven't. But other than that, everything's rented out. We have all the spaces rented out at the airport, and so we're doing good.
Look forward to that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other communications?
Judge.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I received a check from the CM auctions. I believe this was the auction that was opened in August for Commissioner Elizondo. It's a check for $67,605.30. So that will be deposited today.
Okay. And that was some equipment, a backhoe, I believe, and.
Some equipment that Commissioner had in her precinct in San Ignacio.
Very good.
I just wanted to recognize, Judge, that September was it's still Childhood Cancer Awareness, so there's a proclamation, if you would like to read it.
Read that. Did we approve this? Or no, we haven't brought it before the court?
No, so before the end of the month, I just want to maybe hear from any
Well,
questions, just bring it up.
we'll bring it up for the next meeting. We can do it, or does it have to be this month? Because the proclamation does require I think no, it doesn't require Commissioner's Court approval. I'll just go ahead and read it. Proclamation Childhood Cancer Awareness Month whereas childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children, and whereas 1 in 285 children in the United States will be diagnosed by their 20th birthday, and whereas 46 children per day, or 16,790 children per year, are diagnosed with cancer in the U.S., and whereas there are approximately 40,000 children on active treatment at any given time, and whereas the average age of diagnosis is 6 years old compared to 66 for adult cancer diagnosis, and whereas 80% of childhood cancer patients are diagnosed late with metastatic disease, and whereas on average there's been a 0.6% increase in incidence per year since the mid-1970s, resulting in an overall incidence increase of 24% over the last 40 years, and whereas 2/3 of childhood cancer patients will have chronic health conditions as a result of their treatment toxicity, with 1/4 being classified as severe to life-threatening, and whereas approximately 1/2 of childhood cancer families rate the associated financial toxicity due to the out-of-pocket expenses as considerable to severe, and whereas in the last 20 years, only 4 new drugs have been approved by the FDA to specifically treat childhood cancer, and whereas the National Cancer Institute recognizes the unique research needs of childhood cancer and the associated need for increased funding to carry this out. Whereas hundreds of nonprofit organizations at the local and national level, including the American Childhood Cancer Organization, are helping children with cancer and their families cope through educational, emotional, and financial support, and whereas researchers and healthcare professionals work diligently, dedicating their expertise to treat and cure cancer with children, and whereas too many children are affected by this deadly disease, and more must be done to raise awareness and find a cure. Now therefore be it resolved that the County of Zapata, State of Texas, do hereby proclaim the September 2022 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and encourage to observe Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and support this cause that so deeply impacts families in every community across our country. Thank you, Commissioner, for bringing that. Any other communications? We'll move on to public comment. This section provides the public the opportunity to address the Commissioner's Court on any item on the agenda. The public wish to address the court at this time. If not, we'll move on to item number 6, approval of invoices. In the packets, we had invoices from September 9th, 2022 through September 22nd, 2022 for a total of $528,525.31.
Motion to approve is presented.
Second. Motion to approve. I do have an additional invoice that needs to be presented. I think this invoice has been kind of a hot potato traveling from department to department.
Okay.
And this is from Anderson Equipment. And it was initially ordered in 4/27/2021 for work on a dozer by Anderson. And I spoke with Mr. Verial, representing Anderson. Initially, the invoice amount was for $29,010.96, and this was for work done on the dozer. After going back and forth with him and trying to negotiate what costs could be reduced, it was reduced to $21,170.46. And then we have an additional invoice on this dozer, which was submitted 8/9/2022 for hydraulic leak. And the original invoice was for $10,283.37. They were able to reduce it to $8,453.94. Then we had another invoice. This was since March of this year for the same equipment. And this is for $3,097.88. So initially it was a road and bridge invoice. Subsequently, that dozer was transferred to the landfill. So I guess, the road and bridge don't have any money, so we can't pay it out of there.
We did have some monies on one of the sales that we had through the auction,
Okay.
so I might be able to swing it from there.
But certainly, Anderson, of course, has been very patient and waiting for us for almost a year and a half to get this paid. I don't know where this invoice originated, but it ended up on my desk a couple of weeks ago. You know, I think we need to be a little bit more responsible about paying our debts than waiting a year and a half to do it.
So I'll modify my motion, Judge, with those three totals, the total comes out to $561,247.59.
We can do that.
Oh, okay, thanks, I'll make that.
Then we got a
We need a second.
Second, Judge. We need a second.
second by Commissioner Solis.
Okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 7, approval of checks issued. And we got checks from 9/9/2022 through 9/22/2022, for a total of $528,925.31.
Plus the amount from.
Yes. Make a motion, Commissioner Elizondo makes a motion. Second by Commissioner Solis. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Motion carried. Moving on to the action items, we will deliberate and consider action on the following items. Number 8 is to review action taken by the Zapata County Commissioners Court on September 12, 2022 to address legal concerns regarding the voting on certain line items. Commissioners, I put this item on on September 12th, there was a vote for supplemental increases to department heads. One of those votes made by Commissioner Garza involved his daughter, which was inappropriate, I believe, at that time for him to vote.
Well, Judge, I've done a little bit of research on the matter, Judge, and because the act taken was not an official act, Judge, it wasn't recorded on the Commissioners Court meeting as.
No, it was.
It
was
was.
an action item.
It was an action item.
It was
Yes,
considered
sir.
an action item,
Yeah.
okay. Well, because you said in the September 12th notes, it said, no Commissioners.
Well, we had
Court
the hearing's finished up on the 12th.
Yeah, I know, but
And
it
then
said
we-
no Commissioners Court action was taken on the.
Which one?
On the September 12th budget hearing,
Oh, that's a budget hearing, but
That's
there
the
was
budget
an
hearing, but
item.
then we had the regular meeting on the 12th. and that's when
on the regular
action
meeting,
was
that's where it
taken.
was taken?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as what I explained, Judge, was that because he has a relationship that's within the degree of consanguinity, he cannot vote for the raise. Now, had the raise been with a cost of living adjustment that was done across the board,
Exactly, sure.
it would have been lawful at that point, but it is not lawful when it's to certain individuals within that department. And because the Commissioners Court is the ultimate arbiter of salaries within the county, it would violate nepotism laws, Judge. So when the final, or when the vote comes to adopt the budget, he would have to essentially recuse himself from that specific line item or vote or whatever
But
the case may be.
I think we'd have to revisit that vote again.
Well, yeah, you have to make the
No,
final
but we're gonna approve the
decision.
entire budget.
But what action was taken at the previous meeting when they,
Well, the proposed changes to the budget.
but it was a proposed change, and
And
what's
then
it
it was
called, was
voted,
actually adopted?
whatever was brought up was voted individually by the commission.
Okay, I got you. What do you got, Commissioner? Yeah, I reviewed that, Commissioner, but that's not what's applicable in the particular section. This hiring and firing obviously is involved with nepotism laws, okay, that's clear, and I think we all are clear on that issue. When it changes are when there's an entity that's the ultimate arbiter of salaries, which is what the Commissioners Court are, okay? So if that employee existed prior to the, say, elected official coming into office and making that decision, then they would be allowed to vote on certain issues under an exception.
And if it's across the board.
And if it's across the board, if there's a specific, what is it, a cost of living adjustment or something to that effect. Here, that's not the case. This case is a very specific one where not everyone across the board is getting a raise.
It was
Only
targeted.
certain individuals, and because those certain individuals, one of them you'd have a conflict on, only you, Commissioner, would be precluded from voting on that one individual. You can vote on every other individual that's getting a raise, you just cannot vote on
That's
that.
fine, I don't have no problem anyway.
Look,
Last year, she didn't have a raise either.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, just give you a heads up, Commissioner.
worry.
It would
We're
be
just trying to be,
That's fine.
follow the law, Commissioner.
Okay, that's fine, that's the law, that's the law.
So
Don't worry
that's,
about it.
that's what I think we need to be careful with.
But I can vote on the other ones.
Yes, you can vote on all the other ones,
Okay,
Commissioner. It's
that's
just
fine, that's
that
fine.
specific line item is the one you cannot. You'd be.
Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Be
thank you,
happy.
Commissioner.
Judge, may I?
Yes.
In reviewing some of the documents, submitted to the court for approval last, on the 12th, have been quite a bit back and forth as far as what was submitted from the sheriff's office. So basically, on the general order, it may have a bigger effect on, depending on which way the commissioners, you all decide to vote on today. There were two different set of documents that were turned in, so it made it a little bit more difficult to vote on or to prepare the necessary general order for today's meeting.
So basically, our general order is not ready, Counselor.
Okay.
And certainly.
So we
today
have
is
to
the last day.
recess until the general order is correct, to be able to vote on the budget, or what?
Yes.
I see.
We certainly, what the documents that were turned in by the sheriff department on the very day of voting, 5 minutes before the voting, had changed from the previous hearing. So we had two sets of documents, and in some of those documents, some of the changes include reductions in salary to some of the positions. Does it include reduction in salary, some of the positions? I mean, that's what was turned in.
But there are such things as typos, so we're just correcting.
Well, that's why we don't have the general order ready, Sheriff, because you did not turn in the required documents in time for us to review and to adopt those changes. So basically what we approved on the 12th was a document that included some decrease in salary, Sheriff. That's what we approved, is that correct?
So that's not the case, or it is the case?
It's the case.
It is the case, okay.
It's a document that is not, the arithmetic is not up to date.
The final number was given to you, Judge?
Yes, the final number on which document, but the final document does not add up with the percentages of benefits, that we need. So the document is incorrect. What the court voted on the 12th, the numbers are not correct. And it's not like it's one position or two. I mean, you're talking about 100 positions that basically, so it's very difficult to make those changes. What the court approved basically does not add up with the numbers that reflect on the document.
So the court took an action that's outside of what was requested, or?
No, it approved a document that is not correct.
I see, that just doesn't.
Add up.
I see, okay. So those corrections need to be made?
Yes.
And then the court will vote on those?
Yes.
I see. Okay.
So we need to find out exactly what the sheriff was wanting in that document, whether there is some positions that are included a salary decrease.
Okay.
If that's what exactly is, because that's what the commission approved. Was the document, the final document that was turned in on the 12th was a document that had several positions with salaries reduced. And also had salaries increases, and on other, and some with no increase at all.
And have those numbers been reconciled already, like?
I can identify them and see which ones we have questions on, but I need direction from the court to properly present a general order for that department.
So are we gonna take a recess, Judge, or are we gonna have a special meeting, or what are we?
Well, it's gotta be approved at the regular meeting, which is today.
Right. We're gonna have to recess and come back and.
Well, we gotta give her some direction
Right,
exactly.
right, so that those decisions have to be made
So
here.
do you have the accurate documentation already from the sheriff's department? Sheriff, can you provide that?
Yes.
Today?
Provided to it. I'll give you with that.
Okay, so then we'll just skip over those, then we'll recess. So on the number 8, what would that be, a no action, or do we have to revisit all those?
We
That
have
has to be revisited if you guys passed it in a blanket pass.
Yes, we
pass it.
did.
If it was passed in a blanket, then that would have to be changed to now reflect the potential conflict that the commissioner had. Then after that, the court, with the remaining votes on that specific, item, would have to vote on it. And then after that, all the other positions can be voted lump other than that. So,
Either way, I still have to change it, right? Because,
well, I don't know what you
because
submitted,
the
Sheriff.
salary of Linnell, you know, is not acceptable.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong, it can still be voted as a yes, Sheriff. They can still vote for it, it's just, Commissioner Gauss is the only one that cannot vote. So, that's the only thing.
So, no action on that one for now?
No action until it's clarified, because, but the court is going to have to take action on that department.
Okay. All right, so no action for now. We'll skip over 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And move to item number 14 is to allow private contractors to mow and bale grass at Zapata County Airport at no cost to the county. Mr. Montes, I think we've got some private contractors, we've got quite, I mean, we had those big rains.
Yes, Judge, and they're continuing, so, for them to continue, but, yes, so Judge, that way we don't have to be, spending on fuel and damaging our equipment, and I think it's good, whatever we come to an agreement on, I've typed up an agreement, I'll forward it to Mr. Figueroa to.
Okay, and I think there's three.
There's three at a time that have reached out, Judge, and we are able to do it. I've read the manual, and it states that we can either lease it or just come to an agreement where they can do it as, because it's not always good, but right now it's,
Yeah, maybe once or twice a year, it's.
At least twice a year, it'll be good enough, and they'll mow it down to about 2 inches, and I think it's a.
So
it's a
we'll have
good-
some sort of, Mr. Montes, we'll have some sort of written agreement with this contractor?
That's correct.
Yeah, I'll
And
make a
we can do
motion.
that on a rotating
Okay,
basis.
I'll make a motion that we approve it, Judge, pending, review by legal on that agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second to allow private contractors to mow and bale grass at the airport. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 15, to approve payment of $15,000 to Carlos Colino Vargas for the preparation of the park master plan. And this is with the Los Emenos Golf Course. Initially, the court had approved, which was a 3% of the total cost of the grant, which was $750,000, which was approved by Parks and Wildlife. He was entitled to 3%. Part of that included some application costs, and the rest was the master plan. The county has received the majority of the $750,000 grant. We've received $650,000 as part of the help to purchase price. There's still $100,000 that is outstanding, and which will be used on the park trails there at the golf course. So Mr. Colino Vargas will continue to be helping the county in finalizing that grant. Do we pay him the entire $15,000, and that basically is the end of the road? Do we pay him the whole amount and trust that he will continue to help us, or?
We do that.
What are the remaining, things he has to do to?
Well, so for most of the grants have already been awarded.
Okay.
We've got $100,000 that invoices will have to be submitted, and that will go through him. He'll continue to do that. I think he's got an obligation to finish the project. So, he's requesting the entire $15,000. I don't have a problem with paying him. He has submitted.
Motion that we do pay him $15,000.
Motion by Commissioner Elizondo to approve the $15,000 payment. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Mendoza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 16 is to approve payment of $1,145 and $885 to REPMP for repair done at Zapata County Swimming Pool Precinct 1. Mr. Calixto Rodriguez came by my office last week wanting to be paid for these invoices that have been done and ordered by the commissioner. He wasn't able to find a commissioner to turn in the invoices for him to consider, so I'm putting them on the agenda. But this was work done, ordered by the commissioner on Precinct 1 for the.
Yeah, I believe Mr. Gonzalez also put it on the agenda just because we had exhausted funds in that specific line item, so.
Motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Elizondo to approve payment, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 17 is to approve the purchase of a trailer from Ron Hoover for precinct 1 in the amount of $7,222.50
Motion moved.
from the certificates of obligation. So what, is this equipment that was, initially put to the voters for us to purchase or not?
It wasn't part of the, original, proposal that was submitted for, when we applied for the certificate of obligation. But from the monies that, we, I guess, how do you say it, we reallocated from the sheriff's office patrol units, they were each given an additional funds to purchase any additional equipment.
All right, so, but it wasn't in the original
No, it's not.
document? Okay, so we got a motion, a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion, how much monies are outstanding?
About 100,000.
We don't have to spend it all, Commissioners, we can certainly, pay some of our tip down, with that. Item number 18 is to approve the payment of $181.85 and $1,068.05 to Martinez Electrical Services for repairs at the county pool.
Motion to approve, Judge.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Garza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 19, to approve the payment of $664.72 to Martinez Electrical Services for repairs at the San Ignacio Plaza.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, is there a
Second.
second? Second by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 20 is to approve payment of $7,780 to RET&P for work done at Zapata County Golf Course.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Garza. Is this coming out of your budget, Commissioner?
I still have about 7,000 from the certificate of obligation, so we can use that.
Well,
No, no, that's not for work.
That
You
was for
can't
the-
use- you can't
that was
use
for
those
the
monies.
timers, for the installation of timers? For the
We
timers that
can't,
we
we can't
purchased?
use it for work. I mean,
Well, actually, for the golf course, we still can
Yeah.
for
You told me
these
we
type of
could.
changes. It can't be maintenance type.
Right.
This
This
was
was
for
yeah,
the
it's
street
maintenance because we're paying labor from this. I mean, labor is most of that invoice. I mean, if we're buying the sprinkler heads or whatever, that's fine, but,
But we bought the timers, and this was to install the timers.
so it includes labor, so I wouldn't recommend using the CO for that.
So how much of this is, do we know how much of this is actually labor and how much of it is actual?
Labor is
material?
5,800, materials 1,980.
We could do the 1980 from the CO.
Okay, and the rest will come out of the budget.
Okay.
We can do that.
Motion,
It was Mendoza Garza.
Mendoza Garza, to be paid from 1980 from the CO for equipment and the remainder 5,000 so from Commissioner's, budget. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
It's 5,800, Mary Jane, remaining for labor.
Thank you.
To approve the purchase of 2 mowers from Road and Bridge, for Road and Bridge Precinct 4, amount not to exceed $30,000. Monies to be used from the certificates of obligation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 22, to continue the letter of credit to establish standby trust fund for the financial assurance for the closure and post-closure of San Ignacio landfill number 783 in the amount of $608,071 and closed Zapata landfill number 1528 in the amount of $306,158 as requested by TCEQ Deborah Wazinski.
Wazinski. Judge, I also have to add another $25,000 to this CD to be able, they go by, inflation rates. This year was 4.2, we're gonna be below, so we have.
We're at 8.3.
Well, for these purposes, we're very, very close, and I know I've said that last year too, the closing of the Zapata landfill was,
Yeah, I think
TCQ,
we
which
should
would
be able
free
to-
up, some monies there.
Yeah, we should be able to free up 306,000 in the near future. Yeah, we've been in contact with them, so.
So we're gonna add 25,000 to the 608 or?
No, we already, it was already added.
It was already added,
Yeah, we
okay.
went to talk to the treasurer or whatever.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza to approve, seconded by Commissioner Elizondo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 23, to approve payment of $11,890.62 to RDO Equipment Company for repairs. This was for, I guess, the shop loader.
Yeah, motion to
Oh,
approve.
yes, this one is, for the loader that we were using at the.
The one that you told me to send it to RDO,
Yeah.
Judge.
Yes, and talking to Ralph, we should be able to get reimbursed, with the USDA, grant on there, hopefully.
We've got, I don't see Mr. Gonzalez in the audience today, but we've got a deadline on that grant, and so it's not a sure thing unless we
Okay.
submit all the documentation.
All
So we're
right.
spending more than $100,000 thinking that we're gonna get that money back, and, I hope we do.
I'll contact Mr. Gonzalez after the meeting.
Okay.
See where we're at.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve, and the amount was how much?
$11,890.62.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Garza. Any
Solis.
discussion? Solis? Commissioner Solis, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 24 is to terminate occupancy of building agreement with Ram Nutritional Services, premises to be vacated by Friday, November the 25th, 2022. Ms. Lopez here in the audience this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Gonzalez. Lopez, I'm sorry.
Not sure if y'all got to receive my email, but here's a copy of the letter that has been sent to, or provided to Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, we've been having discussions with Ms. Lopez about, the amount of space that's there at the nutrition kitchen, especially the kitchen where, we've been sharing it with, Ram Nutritional Services, and I think we came to an agreement, and Mr. Hernandez accepted that we move on and separate, because just the arrangement is not quite, what we expect, and so he's agreed to move on. So we will be vacating on the 25th of November, is that? Yes. And then he did, wanna ask the court if, of course, he's using some of our facilities, other facilities, including the pavilion, and I think some of the centers in Falcon and Opeño. And San Ignacio also, if that would continue, of course, it's not, this could be part of the action item here, is if the court is agreeable for him to continue using those services to dispense the meals to the kids, but the kitchen, he will relocate to another.
Yes, it would have to, if you all agree to, let him or allow him to use any other of the county facilities, that's fine. It just couldn't be our kitchen.
Okay, right, yes.
Ms.
Yes.
We made
Garza,
that very clear, Ms. Lopez, made that very clear.
Ms. Garza, are we incurring any significant expenses as far as maintenance or repairs at the facilities he's using?
He's using the pavilion, not Falcon.
Okay, not Falcon or Opeño. Okay, but are we incurring, are we having to make any type of major repairs or maintenance or anything at the pavilion? Okay. Judge, I'll make a motion that we approve the, termination of this
Second.
agreement and also, to allow him to continue to use the facilities.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 25 is to request an additional $25,000 for raw foods, line item 038-36664-647. We've got a week left in our budget here.
Yes, I spoke to Ms. Lopez maybe, like 2-3 months ago, but she had some situations and she doesn't need 25, she needs 17 to finish out. 7,000 of that is monies that already been, ordered, just not paid.
Okay.
It was a matter, do we close it, do we keep it open, so.
Yeah,
She needs 17,000.
17,000.
Motion to approve the $17,000 for the nutrition center.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza,
Thank you,
seconded by
Commissioner.
Commissioner Solis. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Sadigan, you're keeping tabs on, this is all coming out of the fund balance.
Yes, I am.
Okay. To approve the hire of an administrative assistant for the Human Resources Department.
Judge, Commissioners, I did hold interviews, within the past week. We interviewed about 6 individuals. The one I have, pretty much, we came to an agreement on was Ms. Luz Maria Garcilaso to be hired.
Motion to approve the hiring of Ms. Garcilaso, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza to hire Ms. Luz Maria Garcilaso to be the administrative assistant in the Human Resources Department.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 27 is to approve the implementation of the Clover Merchant Services to be offered to Zapata County. Yes, Nelly?
Judge, Commissioners, the judge had asked me back in the summer months to look into the Clover machines for several departments. I got in touch.
And these are these are automatic?
These are the credit card machines for
We've
debit
got
cards,
a
credit
few
cards.
departments, Mr. Theola, that are still accepting cash, and I think we should try to move away from that for obvious reasons. So I think that.
I got a hold of Mr. Pepe Ramirez at Zapata National Bank, and while I mentioned it to him, he was in the process of securing these services through the Clover Merchant Services, which is the Clover stations. And they do have the little portable ones, which is available to the departments. I did speak with Ms. Delia Mendoza, and we've been meeting with her because that's one of the departments that I thought maybe would be beneficial from using this service. And she seemed to find quite a bit of savings.
Okay.
There is a 99 yearly fee for these machines, and then we can use depending on the type of machines that she would use and some of the
Most
other
of the transactions would be going in your office, and I guess at the water plant. But I think we had problems at our landfill. Landfill was only a cash basis, so I think we'll be able to use them at the landfill.
Yes.
They have handheld, some of
They
them are
have-
just handheld
it's-
ones, they're small little.
It's the
Okay.
little carry device that you would be able to, the person would be able to either use the little tap services or insert the card into the machine, and it'll take your payment and it'll print a receipt.
APs currently already have a merchant services, right, with this.
I believe they do, but we can reach out to them as well, and any other department who does receive cash
What
payments.
other departments do we have that actually accept cash?
I
Do we
know.
accept cash, we don't accept cash for facilities rentals, right? It has to be a check or money order.
The library does.
Yeah, we only cash.
So we will be getting away from checks and cash little by little. And they also provide online services, so people can pay, stuff online.
The service sounds really, really good. I mean, we've had a demo, and actually, we're gonna be getting pretty close to $12,000 a year based on our numbers, which, right now, in our tax department, we're collecting over $1 million. So that's about $12,000 a year that we'll be receiving
So that-
from the money that's charged.
Yeah, so essentially these machines would pay off,
Pay themselves
themselves.
off.
Pay themselves off,
Yeah.
exactly.
Motion to approve, Judge, the proposal.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 28, thank you, Nelly, for looking into that. Request to approve payments of $26,000 and $27,000 to Ramza Electromechanic Incorporated for repairs to 2 intake pumps that were damaged because of low water and high silt levels. Invoices to be paid from River Intake line item 08047560600, which will be submitted to USDA for reimbursement. And this is another one that we are gonna front end the payment on. This is $53,000 that will be submitted, but for now, it's coming out of our fund balance to pay. I think I saw over $150,000 worth of payments that were not budgeted, that we're having to approve because of whatever emergencies, but these are money that eventually, hopefully we can have them in the future to help cover some of these expenses.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Solis, second by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 29 is to reapply for the Texas Veterans Commission General Assistance Grant. Our Veteran Service Officer, good morning.
Morning, Judge.
Commissioner Gonzalez, how are you?
Morning.
Great. First of all, I wanted to introduce, Mr. Mendoza, Luis Mendoza.
Yes, you know him well, Luis.
So he's been working with the veterans.
I saw that, yes, I appreciate your help.
And, just wanted to get ahead of the game and start applying for the same grant that we got for this year, to reapply for next year. The window's already open for that grant.
Motion.
And we'll see if you guys want to do that.
Motion by Commissioner Garza to reapply, seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 30 is to apply for the Texas Veterans Commission, the Housing for Texas Heroes.
Okay, yes, Mr. Mendoza also, in communicating with the people that helped us out with the last grant, brought that to my attention that there's this other grant that is just like the one that I guess the USDA has, where they help with, financial assistance as far as fixing their homes. So this is something specifically for veterans only. It's 100% refundable to the county, so it's no out-of-pocket cost for the county.
Okay.
And it helps veterans out with that. I don't know which one.
Is that with weatherization and improvements?
That's to improve for the house, roofing, flooring, upgrades and elevations from, very accessible. And it is, strictly for veterans, and, we just need to work with, contractors to be able to work on our budget.
Okay.
That's the biggest.
And what is the limit, or how big or small can this grant be, or?
They said that it goes anywhere from like 4,000 to 6,000 per veteran.
Okay.
But it also based on our contractors, what they're willing to work with, so we can adjust the amounts.
Motion to approve.
And I guess, what are the total amount, this would be a $300,000
Okay,
grant.
right.
Well, that's what you want to know, Judge.
Yes, so we can use up to 300,000 if we find enough veterans that,
Yes,
help.
Judge.
So if we hustle enough, we can,
Yes.
well, very good job. Got a motion and a second, Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Solis. I think, we're still, maybe any news on the mobile health clinic?
I'm glad you brought it up, Judge. As far as, I got an email from them, because I've had a lot of people ask me about it. As a matter of fact, they've been bugging me about it, because we originally said that it was gonna be towards, the end of August.
Yes.
We're in September already. I sent out an email, and I told them I wanted to get something back in an email format, so that way I have something, to show to the court. And pretty much, they didn't take into consideration the time that it would take to train the staff to work with these mobile clinics. So that's something that was gonna take more of their time, and they're looking more at the beginning of November timeframe.
Okay,
Those-
well, that's
those
fine.
clinics. But, it's still on the road, they received them, they're already there. But like all government entities, there's
It
always
takes time.
layers,
Well, anything that we can do to expedite them being here, just let us know.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank
And a
you.
motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 31 is to issue requests for proposals for administrative services, RFPs, and requests for qualifications, RFQs, for engineering services for the 2023-2024 Texas Community Development Block Grant Program funds administered by the Texas Department of Agriculture. And, so this would be for the coming, 2024 season. We would, the funding cycle, we, between now and then, I think the court has to decide on which, project we will be pursuing. Of course, this, past funding, project, the court decided on paving in precinct 3. So maybe we can do some improvements in another precinct or same precinct, it's up to the court, what priorities, we set, for these projects. And it's usually, I think top priority are paving, we can do community centers, we can do, we can do, any type of infrastructure, of course, water, sewer. So any of those projects that come into mind, we will need to decide on which one we're gonna pursue. And in the meantime, we'll start, getting these, proposals out, for these agencies to come and inquire about. So, I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 32 is to approve an archaeological study request for proposals for TDA Colonia Grant CFC21-0191. The archaeological survey is required to environmentally clear the Medina drainage section of the Colonia project. The RFP procurement will be managed by GrantWorks and awarded by Zapata County. So basically, Commissioner, this is part of the Colonia grant that we received last year for improvements in the drainage there in the Colonia subdivision, Medina subdivision, and the elevated storage tank around, I guess, the pavilion area. The state is requiring a archaeological survey. This was not a budgeted item, so this will be coming out of our fund balance to pay for this. And we're looking at maybe 8,000 to 10,000, it could be more, could be less, to hire an individual to perform these studies before they can clear and give us the go-ahead to include those concrete drainage areas in the creek.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner
Garza.
Commissioner Garza made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Elizondo. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item number 33 is to request the use of Zapata County Pavilion on October the 2nd, 2022 for the Zapata High School Strutter Benefit Bingo.
Motion move.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. What time is, I see Ms. Amber?
It is on October 2nd, and we're gonna try to get there from 11 and end around 6.
From 11 to 6.
Maybe before, it's just whatever it takes for us to finish the bingo.
Oh, good, yes, okay. Technically from 11 to 6, the pavilion, October 2nd, 20. There's no conflict, Ms. Garza, on that? Okay, it's available, okay. And no charge, Commissioner, is that the motion? Okay, no charge. All those in favor say aye.
On behalf of the Strutters and myself, thank you all.
You meant for the record, ma'am, can you stand up and for your name to be on the record?
Oh, yes. My name is Julissa Horta, and I'm the Vice President of the Strutter Parent Club.
Well, thank you for being here. Okay. Item number 34 is to use the Zapata County Plaza for a farmer's market benefit bingo for Zapata High School Strutters.
We have a typo on that. It's not a bingo. It's just gonna be a market, a vendor's market.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Garza. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. We've got some consent items. Fire department uniform, $100, to travel, $100.
Motion move.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Garza. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. We move on to resolutions and proclamations. To approve a resolution in support of the annual Hop Fest Homecoming Parade to be held by Zapata County Independent School District and allow the temporary closure of US Highway 3 along 7th Avenue through 17th Avenue. The event will be held on October the 12th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to executive session, items to be heard are item number 39 and 40. 39 is consultation with attorney regarding the blocking of county utility easements. And item number 40 is consultation with attorney in reference to ACA filings for 2019, 2020, 2021, and also 1099 filings for 2018. And executive session is requested pursuant to Texas Government Code Title 5, Subchapter D, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney.
Motion to enter into executive session.
We are now in executive session.
Need the second?